Hello, some time ago when I did a review of Burson Playmate, actually really good desktop deck and amplifier combo, I really recommend it to you. If you need detailed review, just check the link in the description. So when I was doing that review, I have said that I'd like to test it with Burson's hybrid op-amps, because Burson's V5, V6 op-amps is usually a really efficient way of improving the sound of many amplifiers, many digital tonal converters, CD players and all other gear that is using op-amps. Of course, op-amp chips are cost-efficient way of implementing amplification, but as you probably know, cost-efficient doesn't always mean best in terms of sound, in terms of quality and so on. So that's why Burson released so-called discrete op-amps. So basically it's a discrete amplifier schema implemented in this small package with pinout that is similar to regular op-amps. So you can just swap regular op-amps with this, well, with this detail, and of course it's not very usable in small designs, like for example it's not fitting inside of my Audienst hard disks, but actually, you know, Burson has a solution for that. They have adapter with wires, so you can use it in horizontal orientation if you need to fit it into the case. But of course in their own device they've put enough of room to replace the op-amps with the discrete op-amps V6, and they offer already upgraded models, but I've got basic version and now I've got this 4 pieces of V6 Vivid Dual. They have 2 versions of these op-amps. They have Classic and Vivid. Classic are built to be transparent and give maximum clarity, while Vivid are a bit more coloring the sound to give you more sense of presence, more body, more like a bit less natural but more engaging and analog representation. Well, price is $70 for a pair of single op-amps, $70 for the dual op-amp, and $130 if you need 2 dual op-amps. And that's, I think, pretty much it, and now let's have a closer look. Before the installation of op-amps inside of the Playmate, we need to do this operation, just remove this adapter. So everything is pretty simple. You will have one or two box of op-amps. You need to see what op-amps are used inside of your device that you want to upgrade. Then you need to look at the table on the Burson's website to get to understand what you will need: single, pair, dual, and so on. And now we're ready to replace them. In the accessory set of Playmate you will have this Torx screwdriver, but of course it's not that convenient, so I've got my screwdriver set. If you are looking for the good screwdrivers, or at least not bad and cost efficient, I want some inexpensive screwdriver set, and actually an inch from AliExpress appeared to be pretty nice. It's made of S5 steel, if I remember right, and it serves me well for a few years already. So, first live teardown in the history of Porta.Fi. Actually, probably not the first one, but one of the first. So, you need to unscrew 2 upper screws on the front panel. There are 4 of them, but 2 lower ones are not interesting for us. And 2 upper screws on the back panel. As Apple leaders say in their presentations. Boom. And here you can see internals of Playmate. They even put a simple schema what you can replace here. Low pass stage and head amp output, dual OpAmp, and current voltage conversion stage. So these two OpAmps. It's very convenient from the Burson side. Well, now I need to say, don't do it at home, because you know it's better to remove these chips not with your fingers but using the special tool, because their tiny feet are really fragile. But I lost my chip removal tool somewhere, so I need to do it with my fingers. So be careful and better order removal tool. It's cost just a few dollars and it's not that expensive. Now you need to check the key. So as you can see, there is a cut here and a cut in the socket. So just basically gently install it and press, preserving the polarity. They are fitting a bit tight to each other, but anyway, of course Burson thought about this upgrade, and you will have enough of space around them. And now we can put lead back. So basically I will skip the assembly part, but it will take few additional minutes, so you can see in 5 minutes or so, like 5-7 minutes, you will be finished with this upgrade. It's that easy. So to prove that everything is working after the upgrade, I've gathered everything together. So I connected power to the Burson. As you can see, it didn't explode and magic blue smoke didn't run out. So smoke test passed, and I used my M11 as a source. I connected headphones and everything is working and it's playing. So now we can talk about the sound, because a lot of wires around there, I suppose it will look more professional. Okay, I'm just kidding. So in terms of sound, I didn't test their classic OpAmps, but this Vivid, actually it's adding vividness. Yep, it's pretty expected, but even when I tried to find some associations, it sounded a bit like Saturator plugin for the audio editing software. It's the plugin that some people like to apply to recordings and then call it like remastered versions. I'm not sure is it popular worldwide or it's just fun for the local community, but sometimes in the local community people releasing such things. But let's move back. So basically, these OpAmps are improving dynamic range. Well, maybe not that dynamic range that is measured, but these OpAmps are highlighting transitions, and they are highlighting a bit emotions. They are highlighting that I called macro dynamics. So blows are sounding more blowing, some kicks are sounding more kicking, vocal has more emotions, and at the same time it's sounding a bit more forward and because of that intimate. But probably let's move from low frequencies and I will try to explain everything step by step. So bass became a bit deeper and more weighty. I don't think that there is more quantity more bass in terms of quantity, but it definitely gained more body, more weight, more slam and more depth. Also, resolution became a bit higher, but without A/B testing it's hard to say for sure, and I'm not sure that just quick swapping tests were enough. Sorry for the train, I suppose it will pass quietly, and I don't have to pause the recording. So maybe resolution increased a little bit, but maybe just my bias towards that, because A/B tests are required and I don't have second playmate for that. But other changes in weight, in depth are noticeably audible, and they are, well, not the huge, but definitely noticeable and big. As an example, I've got Jason Newsted solo album, and unfortunately there was only one album, and there probably won't be any more. It's sad, but it's true. If you are a fan of old Metallica, I definitely recommend this album to you, because it's packed with everything for what we like Metallica, and every single track could be used as an example. I just select a random one, and Ampossible was this randomly selected track. So basically, with stock OpAmps, this track sounding pretty detailed and a bit focused on the micro detailization, while with Vivid OpAmps it's sounding more in macro style, and bass is more lively, it's a bit fatter, more noticeable, and drum became more realistic and sounding more natural. So it's kind of improvement for such genres. Mids are also became more emotional. You will definitely hear more of tiny sounds. Probably, classic OpAmp will be even better suited for those who like the micro detailization, who like maximum transparency, but even with Vivid one that is not tailored for that purpose, it's still there is an improvement in this area, and gain in the emotions is really noticeable. Stage became deeper, and at the same time vocals are moved a bit forward, so they sounding more intimate, and at the same time a bit more realistic, with a bit more textures in the vocals. And as an illustration, I've got one of the most famous Pink Floyd tracks, Summer 68. Pretty positive, at least maybe not that much, but still really positive, kind of nostalgia of that times, with nice orchestra and with good, well, not good, with unusual vocal part, and because with this OpAmps vocal sounding even more engaging, and it's like Pink Floyd is singing right in front of you. Definitely improves the presence effect. And treble, it became a bit less, how to say it, crispness is a bit reduced, because attacks and decays became a bit slower compared with stock OpAmps, but at the same time it improved realism, because it saturated treble with overtones, it saturated treble with these small details, it highlighted the tiniest details in the treble. It's a bit improved layering, and because of that you will get richer tail, I call that tails of sounds, and also treble extension is improved a little bit, so a bit richer and a bit more expensive treble, let's say. So it's definitely sounding closer to expensive OpAmps. And as an example, I've got Sting, Fragile, that song that Leon died for, and it's one of the most famous songs. And as usual for Sting tracks, there are a lot of instruments with high pitch, with a lot of decays, with a lot of subtle details, and with this OpAmp they sounding superb, and vocal moved forward is also beneficial for this OpAmps and for this tune, so it's another great gain for this. So to summarize everything, of course, hybrid op-amps by Burson are a bit expensive, but it's because of the complicated schematics that is fit inside of these small plastic bodies, and at the same time it's really inexpensive way of improving sound, because gain of sound that I received was probably it surpassed my expectations, and I get definitely richer sound, more saturated and more engaging. So it was my review of Burson V6 Vivid op-amps, and it's really interesting and easy way to upgrade. Thank you for attention.